figure fans? It's the one and only Optibotimus coming with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Decepticon Stinger. With the new Studio Series, Takara Tomy and Hasbro are finally giving us a worthwhile Stinger. Now, we did get a Stinger in the original Age of Extinction line, but it was just a repaint of that Age of Extinction Bumblebee. From what I could tell, this is a completely new figure. It may share similar design elements, but this is one that I was really excited about when I saw it unveiled at Toy Fair. For the package, you got that absolute gorgeous art here of Stinger. You got a bigger image on the side. One thing that is nice when you take a look at the different movies and stuff, like here's Ratchet, it shows the different movie that's from. So you got Ratchet here from Transformers. This one here is from Age of Extinction. And then when you take a look at Crowbar, his says Dark of the Moon, which I like that. That's kind of cool. The side here has that bigger image of him come out of the back. You got various other figures that are in this first wave. Then you have images of him in his robot as well as his vehicle mode. And this is where it really does get absolutely terrific, because this is the vehicle mode that Stinger had in the movie. It says Decepticon Stinger materializes into a merciless man-made warrior. Comes with a backdrop, you can see screened inspired, and I forgot the name of the vehicle. It's like a Pagnini or Pagini, or I have no idea, but it's definitely not just a red version of a Camaro, which is terrific. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the new Studio Series Deluxe Class Stinger open up and out of his packaging. And first up, as you can see, he does come with that really nice kind of display diorama. On the bottom here, it does say Transformers Age of Extinction, Studio Series. He's the number 2 figure. You got Transformers there. And then you got the kind of Hong Kong battle scene there in the background, which looks really great. Again, it's really nice heavy-duty cardstock. It is a separate piece than just the packaging. It is folded in like this, and then you just slide this out, which is great. As I mentioned in the Bumblebee video, I thought that I was going to have to destroy the package to be able to get that, and I'm glad that I don't. And here we have Stinger, and This might be the runaway figure, in my opinion, of this first wave of deluxe figures. I really do like this guy. As you can see, he is finally in his Pagani, I think it's Pagani, vehicle mode. The original one, like I said, was just a repaint of that deluxe class, the Age of Extinction Bumblebee. So nothing really changed between it, which was very unfortunate because he clearly had a completely different vehicle mode. The robot, you could kind of say looked like him. It was, if you remember, mentioned that Stinger was modeled and inspired by Bumblebee, but improved in every way. So you could kind of say that I can see why he looks like Bumblebee. And while this does have a similar kind of look, he does have a uniqueness to him, which I really do like. But this vehicle mode is really gorgeous. Mostly just in this red and black paint. You can see you got a little bit of silver along the side, a little bit silver for the headlights. You got the Decepticon logo, which is not necessarily movie accurate, but I don't mind that being there. And then you got these little plastic side view mirrors. Nothing really else. Again, the cross promotion between Hasbro and Takara Tomy means that this is the exact same figure that we're going to get from Takara. So there's not going to be a future release that's going to have improved paint applications, which is unfortunate because this could use some. It's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but like some extra detail in the back here for the taillights, things like that would be really nice. In terms of the size, using the new Bumblebee, you can see that they are in scale with one another. He is a little bit smaller. I think that the whole new in scale thing means that these figures are meant to be in scale with one another. So it's not to say necessarily that they're meant to, scale with, let me pull this guy out, say a figure like this, which is a much bigger deluxe figure, even though it is still small by comparison. These new Studio Series figures are meant to scale amongst each other. So you can see what you basically have. Overall, pretty decent. He does roll fairly well. You do have to make sure that when you have these weapons stored, they are pushed up as far as they possibly can so it doesn't hinder the rolling or anything like that. And the wheels go nicely. They just kind of peg in here. You can see the ugly little post right there. That is a little bit ugly, but you can see that the little blade weapons do store here on the bottom. We can take these off for the transformation. We don't need to leave those on. Well, we're going to have to anyhow. But he does come with 4 of them. They are accurate for the most part to him in the movie. He did have these on his back. Not so much in his vehicle mode, but they did kind of replace how like Bumblebee had his doors and windows and stuff on his back. Stinger kind of had that, but there were these blades. So overall nice. I mean, it is a little bit smaller, but I do dig it. Now, transformation form, what's interesting is this is actually a fairly complex transformation, but it's pretty fun nonetheless. First, what we're going to do is come around here to the side, and we're going to loosen up these side panels. Just pull that out like that. And now the whole roof section here is attached to the arm on the other one, so that gets a little bit more tricky. So kind of pull that out, and then lift this, and you can pull that out just like so. Come around here to the front, I guess, fender section. You want to detach this. You can come around here to the bottom. You can see that it's got a bit of a mushroom peg in there. It kind of latches in there really securely. So just wiggle that and kind of separate that, pull that out to the side. We'll play with that here in a bit. And then you can take the bottom section here, fold this out, and then you want to rotate the head around just like so. You don't have to do that now, but it's a little bit easier. And then you can take these, swivel these all the way up and under. They will be on a diagonal kind of bend. You don't want them completely perpendicular. You kind of want them on an angle just like so. So just leave it like that for right now. Come around here to the back section. You can then, well, take these, lift these pieces up, and then rotate these legs down like so. Take this back section, fold this in. That sits there along the back, and then you can fold this toe up just like so. Do that on this side as well. Again, kind of loosen that. Fold that up a little bit. Rotate that around. Spin this all the way around to the back. Fold this up like so. Take this little crotch section. You want to make sure that you point that down. And then can angle this. Fold this. And this whole bit right here, this whole section here, and you can't go that way. Get that out of the way. Rotates this around, get the arm out of the way, and that spins around like so. Then make sure you position these down, lift this back like that, and then bring this whole section in. That will lock down like so. Bring these arms down. We can fiddle with these here in a bit. This, it's personal preference on how you want to position this. I kind of like having the smaller one up here on the top, and then you can position these down, or maybe I'll go like that. I mean, it's personal preference. The only ones that really move are these lower ones. So, I'll fiddle with that and decide what I want to do. I like taking these, folding these around the side, kind of bend these and fold them around the arm there. This whole section right here, this is going to rotate around. Unfortunately, in the package, it's positioned like this, which isn't correct. You need to rotate it. This bottom section here spins around. Let's see, like that, and then you can, oh no, actually I did have it spun. So the packaging has it like this. I apologize. That's how it is in the packaging. You need to have it rotated around so it's on the outside. It does have 3 sections, so when you bend it, you have this middle piece here that kind of sticks out, and then you fold this piece around like that. And then again, you want to kind of angle these on the outer sides of his, kind of like that. Position that how you want to see fit. Bring this down, position the head, play with that a little bit just to kind of position them how you see fit. Again, we're going to take these, then you just peg these bits on. It is a little bit tricky. They don't peg in all that well in some areas, so just give that a nice little push. Give that a nice little push. Let's see, like that one doesn't really go in there all that easily. There we go. And then we'll take this one and peg that in there. So little parts former-ish, but not bad. Get that in there. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want it like that. It's probably better like that, I would say. And then you can angle it up. He had them kind of angled up a little bit more in the movie. You can position it down like that. Again, let me see. I wonder if I can. I wish I could move these pieces down, but these are locked into place, so you're kind of stuck with these like that, kind of angled like that. But and again, I wish I can get that a little bit closer to the body, because that's the little wing thing that he had going on. So yeah, I mean, you could do something like that, I guess. That doesn't look too terribly bad. But when you're done, there you have him in his robot mode. And I'm really quite happy with how this guy turned out. And this guy's pretty cool. I think they did a really decent job with the overall aesthetic to recreate that character that kind of looked like Bumblebee, but then kind of didn't. And playing around with the back, this is kind of what I did. Looking at the stills from the movie, I mean, these were kind of there, and they were kind of twisted. So you can really kind of position these how you want. I do wish there was an extra hinge where you could bring it down a little bit more. I think the best look is kind of like here, where it's kind of going around his back. Now, you don't have to have those on there. You can take them off if you really wanted to, but it kind of completes the look for him. Now, for the comparisons, doing this right away, I know I didn't bring this guy out in his vehicle mode, and honestly, because we know what that Camaro looked like. But I thought for the robot, this did look a pretty nice job of recreating the Stinger look. Now, obviously, when you had the visor up like that, it looked more like Bumblebee. Leaving it down gave a little bit more of that Stinger look, and that's what most people did. But because this guy was loosely based off of Bumblebee, this kind of looked good. But this does take it a whole level further, which I dig. I think that both still look really good. I think ultimately the best looking one is this, and at the end of the day, I think this might have been a Takara one. I don't exactly remember, but we did get a Stinger previously. Now bringing in Bumblebee from the last night, again, you can see that the size here, he's roughly the same size. I would say maybe a little bit shorter, but the scale works. They're not necessarily meant to scale with figures from this line. They are more designed to scale with figures from this line. So getting this guy transformed real quick, here he is, and getting him out of the way, and you bring Bumblebee there, you can see that he's actually a little bit smaller than Stinger is. And again, I wonder if that has to do with the fact that vehicle mode wise, Bumblebee as this classic Camaro is a little bit smaller than how we got in the other movies. The classic Camaro was just a smaller car than the more modern Camaros. So either way, there's your scale. First articulation of the back sections here, like you could see, you can hinge. You got a little thing right here. You can hinge that up and down. You can rotate that if you want. Unfortunately, like I said, these top ones don't move, but the bottom ones do have a little bit of a hinge on there, so you can articulate that, and then it can rotate, so you can, like I was showing you, move that around as you see fit, how you really want to do it. The head is on a ball joint, so you can move it forward and back, side to side, all that kind of stuff. The head sculpt actually is pretty cool if it'll focus. You can see that it has a pretty good look to it, actually. I mean, I want to get in as close as I can, because that's a really pretty darn good looking face sculpt. I really do like that. Nice paint on the eyes. I know some people are complaining because you can't see detail on it. Well, I mean, there's a lot of sculpted detail in it. It's just that the red paint doesn't really bring any of it out. So it would be nice if there was some extra paint to bring that detail out. He does have shoulder ball joints. You can move that in and out, forward and back. Rotates at the elbow, has a soft ratchet joint moving forward and back. Fortunately, nothing at the waist. Everything is locked in place due to the transformation, so you are stuck with that. The right arm does get a little bit kibbly with his little Stinger gun on the side here. Now, people are talking about how this is not entirely movie accurate. There were some times where he was shooting from a gun on his arm. I think that that's what this is meant to replicate, and I think just due to the nature of how they wanted to engineer this, you really couldn't do much with it. It does kind of create a big giant thing on his arm, which you know, in a lot of scenes he didn't have, but he did have a cannon at some points. So it's not bad. I don't mind it all that much, but it does not have that full accuracy kind of thing. The hips move forward and back. They move in and out. Nothing. Oh no, yeah, they do rotate at the upper part of the thigh. He's got a bend here at the knee, and then I guess his little toes can point. So you can do that. But you can see where there are a lot of those similar Bumblebee elements in here. A lot of it in the feet too, especially like with this and then the little piston thing on the top. So you can see a lot of those same elements that Bumblebee had in the movie and everything, and how KHS or whatever I forgot the name of the company, how they basically copied that. So it's cool. I do like the figure. I think that he turned out really very nice, very wicked looking as well, which he definitely had. And he was, I don't want to say a prominent character in the Age of Extinction, but he was there. I don't think he's as forgettable as some people want to make him out to be. I mean, there was the very funny scene where he got kicked over by Bumblebee. I mean, that was kind of a fun scene. A lot of scenes in the battle had Bumblebee fighting this guy and stuff. So I mean, he was there. So I don't know how people miss out on him, but he's there. So I like him, and I'm very happy and thrilled to finally be having an official, completely new figure for him than just a repaint. Now, for his transformation back, first you're going to want to come here to this back section and remove all of these little guys. They will tab onto 2 posts on it here later on, but unfortunately the other 2 posts are on the underside of the robot, so it is better to just remove them and set them off to the side for right now. And then you want to collapse them and rotate them around this way, where I believe it's the red's going to be facing that way. Come around here to these arms. We're just going to lift these up, and I'm going to kind of angle these out, just get these out of the way. If you want to, you can fold this out, and you can spin this section around. Doesn't really matter. I mean, this is all just getting things ready to go. You can take the head, lift this up, you can then rotate that around just like that. Come around here to the torso section. You want to pull this away and just extend this all the way up, and then the hip section you want to straighten out like so, and then you're going to tuck that down. So you had that sticking up like that. Make sure you push that section down. And these arms, it does get a little bit tricky in doing these arms. Some stuff is a little bit kibbly and getting in the way, so just kind of angle that, get that out of the way, just like that. You can take this, and this is where you're going to see you have a little hole section right here that the red one will kind of just fit into. You can put that there if you really want to. Now you can then take this, detach this, again, get these arms out of the way, point the toes down, and then you're going to rotate these up around like that, and then bring this down like so. So again, open that. You can then spin these around, and you're going to put them along the inside like that. Push this whole section down, line that up, and then take this. Oh, well, might be easier to do this the other way. Okay, and then spin this whole section around. Probably should have had you do that, but spin that around like that, and then you can leave this up. There you go, and you have this now kind of underneath here. You have little, this is tricky to do. You don't necessarily have to do it, but it does help out a little bit. On the inside here, you have these little round sections that will tab in to this little round piece. You got that whole red section, you got a little round peg right there. Kind of want to line that up and just kind of fit that right there. Kind of put that in both sides like that, and that kind of snugly holds everything together where the feet are going to be and everything. So just hold that there, and then we're going to rotate and fiddle with all this stuff. No, started running, sorry. You just spin these around like that, lining these pieces up. It's a little bit easier to do this one first because you got to put the roof on there. So rotate this around and then spin this around. This does get a little bit tricky because you have to bring all of this over to the other side. So I'm going to position that straight, keep that arm spun like that, and then swivel that, get that out of the way. Hinge that, there we go. And then bring this across the top. That will tab in along the side, push that in. You can then take this and swoop this over and then tab that front bit into place just like so. Bring this around, and then you have on the underside here of the roof, there's a little tab on the inside that's going to slot into that little thing. So just kind of tuck that under and lock that in. Push all this together here. Make sure you get the wheel kind of straight. Tab in this. Make sure everything looks good across the top. And then take the head and you tuck that up and underneath there just like so. And everything appears to be lined up properly. Then what you can do is that, oh wait. Yeah, make sure that's pushed all the way down, sorry. And then again, you take these, you got a little post right here. Put that there. Put the other one on the opposite side. You got this, and then you have those little black ones there that you can post that into. Again, make sure you push them all the way up so that it doesn't interfere with the rolling of the tires. So, can you get that around and fit the little blades around these little clavicle pieces? Put that all the way up. No, well, knock that one off. And let's see, does that roll? Yes, it does. Then when you're done, that's it. And you have now Stinger back in his, that again, Pagani, I don't know, whatever, car mode. Overall though, really solid toy. The vehicle mode looks fantastic. It does a great job of replicating the real life car. They nailed it. The only thing that's really not accurate from the movie to this is the Decepticon logo, which I don't mind this having at all. Transformation on it, while complex, is actually fun, and there's a lot of really cool stuff that you're doing. The whole torso bit that rotates, the way that the legs transform, everything on this is really very fun to do. And it's nice to get a little bit complex of a transformation. I mean, I don't mind the simplified transformers, but it's nice to get a challenge every now and then. And then the robot mode, while honestly, I still think that this looks really good as Stinger. This one does take it a little bit further and gives a better overall feel for it. And has a little bit more of an accuracy. It's basically allowed me to replace this guy in my Transformer display. And anytime that I'm able to do that with a new figure, to me, that's a win. So if you are movie fans, this is definitely a figure that I would consider adding to your collection. And right now, in very limited quantities, this guy, as well as the rest of the first wave of Deluxe figures, is available exclusively on Hasbro Toy Shop. They were first unveiled to us this past week at Toy Fair, and then after Toy Fair ended on Monday, these were available, which is fantastic. I love when companies do that stuff. They tease it, and then instead of making us wait forever, they release it. And that's what Hasbro did with this, and I think that's fantastic. Now, unfortunately, when that quantity wears out, we're going to have to wait for the regular retail release, which will be widespread. We're going to get them at various retail locations, both brick and mortar as well as online, such as places like Big Bad Toy Store. But for right now, you can head on over to Hasbro Toy Shop. I'll put a link down in the video description. And if you'd like to get these guys, you can do so right now. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, I would really appreciate you letting me know by hitting that thumbs up button. It really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would absolutely appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, welcome. And before you go, I would really appreciate it that if you like this video to also hit that subscribe button. That way you'll get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you'll never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you're already subscribed, now more than However, it's important to make sure that you're getting those email notifications. We all know just how unreliable that YouTube subscription box is, and the best way to make sure that you don't miss any future reviews of mine is to click on that little bell right below this video and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, till all are one.